Hello, my name is Dan Friedman and I serve as Dean of the School of Science and Engineering. Welcome to New Paltz. We're very glad that you've chosen to come here and we look forward to seeing you in the fall. I'd like to deal with one overriding question that I'm sure everyone has, which is what is education going to be like here under COVID-19? I wish I could answer that question more clearly, but currently, when I'm recording this at the end of May, we really don't know. We're still trying our best to understand how the virus behaves so we can operate safely. This is a problem worldwide. We'll know more probably about the middle of July when you're actually registering for courses. Um, I will say up front that we will do our absolute best to provide an outstanding education, whether our courses are in person or online. It is quite possible to have outstanding classes that are done online. And in fact, there are many things that you can do online that you can't do easily in person. It just depends on whether you do it right. Our faculty have worked very hard at this, and we will offer an outstanding education however it is offered. Just a couple of brief things about the school. We have 7 departments, and I'll go through each of them one at a time. We have 11 programs in those departments. Some of them are interdisciplinary, and they have many different tracks. There's a lot going on and a lot to choose from. We have close to 1,100 undergraduate students, which is the most we have ever had. A couple of key things about the school. We're the only comprehensive science and engineering school in the SUNY system. This means that we have all of our science and math and engineering programs under one roof. This makes for great cooperation between the different departments. And it also makes it easier to do interdisciplinary projects, which we have taken advantage of. More than anything, I'd like to emphasize that our principal focus is on undergraduate education. So any facilities that you see here, any equipment, this is all for you to use in your undergraduate education. So one quick thing, we are growing. This shows the undergraduate enrollment in science and engineering over the past 5 years or so. And we have steadily increased the numbers. And I think that's a testament to the quality of the job that our faculty are doing, as well as some additional programs that we've added over the last couple of years. So let me start going through our departments one at a time and just point out a few. Biology is one of our largest majors. Like with most biology departments, it's kind of divided up into field work, and that's shown on the right. That's Professor Eric Keeling's class standing up on the Schwangunk Ridge with his ecology lab. They do a lot of field work. On the left, that's a confocal microscopic image of C. elegans worms from the cell biology lab taught by Professor Jennifer Waldo, pictured on the right, who is also chair of the department. She gives each of the students in the cell biology lab a different strain of worms, these C. elegans, that have different genes, and then they do experiments to see which genes are being expressed, which is what's being shown by the fluorescent tags in the image. The students got very attached to their worms in the spring semester, and that sign at the bottom was from the students who were missing them after we had to go everything online after spring break. But there's many opportunities within the biology department for interesting work to be done both in the field and in the lab. Geology. Geology is somewhat similar in that there's both field work and then analytical work in the laboratory. On the right side shown a trip up to Acadia National Park led by the chair of the department, Fred Vollmer, there in the hat on the right. And then on the left, this shows Professor Godana Garapik on our scanning electron microscope showing a student how to run it. That's the analytical portion of that. In the bottom left, that's not actually a lawnmower that the student is using, that's a ground penetrating radar scanner, and she's working with Dr. John Rayburn, who's the summer chair who you will meet this summer, on doing some archaeological work to find out if there are any buried archaeological sites using the ground penetrating radar. Biochemistry is an interdisciplinary program between the biology and the chemistry departments. Shown here are some students along with Dr. Preeti Dar, who is the director of the biochemistry program. It's an excellent interdisciplinary program that pulls some of the best things out of both of these departments. It's very well suited for pre-medical students because it includes most of the courses that are expected for a pre-medical student. Chemistry department is showing sort of two different types of it. On the right is the wet chemistry that is always part of chemical analysis. And on the left is an analytical chemistry class using our flame absorption spectrophotometer. That's actually me before I grew a beard a few years ago. The chemistry department has a lot of research going on, as do a lot of our departments. Professor Megan Ferguson, shown on the bottom right, has recorded a virtual tour of the outstanding instrumental facilities available in the department. So you might want to check that out. Computer science is one of our fastest growing majors. It is obviously an area where there's an incredible amount of demand in the workforce. It's also a very fascinating major and a really outstanding one to pursue. It's sort of a mixture of a lot of mathematics, as what the student is showing on the bottom right. On the upper left is a student at the annual projects course. This is the capstone experience for computer science, where students engage in a semester-long project, and then they present it at the end. This project can be either an internship. It could be working for a client on campus, such as the Benjamin Center or the library, but they have to produce a final product, usually often a working program that solves a real problem. It's a great start for the kind of work that our graduates do in the workforce. Shown on the left is Dr. Swarin, who's chair of the Department of Computer Science. We have an interdisciplinary program between geology and chemistry called Environmental Geochemical Science. It focused on geological and chemical methods for analyzing the environment. On the left, this is a group of students doing soil infiltration studies at the Farm Hub in Kingston. It's a large farm near the campus. On the right, the three people shown, the person on the left is Dr. Shafiel Chowdhury, who's director of the EGS program when he was on some field work in Asia very recently. We've had flourishing engineering programs with mechanical, electrical, and computer engineering. Shown at the right, the bottom right is Kevin Shanley, who's chair of the Division of Engineering Programs. All of these pictures are from our Senior Design Expo. This is an event we hold every spring that lets the engineering students show off their 2-semester senior design capstone project. During that entire year that they will make, design and create a prototype of a device. It can be kind of like a computer program, but more often it's a combination of a mechanical device with electrical and computer components. Because we had to do all this virtually, all of the students recorded their final project, and the listing for that for the website is below. So I really urge you to check it out. There's a lot of things that go into the engineering curriculum, but this capstone shows what the students do with it when they finish, and it's a great way of getting started and getting ready to go out into the workforce. Our mathematics department is at the core of a lot of things that we do in the School of Science and Engineering. Everybody is required to take mathematics, either a couple of semesters or a lot more than that if you're in a major like engineering or physics. We have some outstanding faculty in the mathematics department, including some really well-known research mathematicians. Shown on the left is Dr. David Hobby, chair of the department. The pictures highlight a couple of events. The one on the left is the SUNY New Paltz Integration Bee. Integration is an important tool used in calculus. And we have, it's like a spelling bee, and it's an enormous amount of fun that we hold every spring. On the right was just a poster from a professional meeting that was hosted on campus and organized by one of our faculty, Anka Radulescu. And this included a number of students who presented on their research at the symposium. We have a flourishing physics and astronomy program, and a lot of students double major in both of them. There's very different things going on in the department. In the upper right is Professor Catherine Hearn with one of her students using some of her optical research equipment. She has a lot of students working with her on an area of research called optical molasses, or optical trapping. On the left is our planetarium, which all the students in the astronomy program learn how to run and present shows in the planetarium. We host about 4,000 visitors a year in there. It's directed by the director of the Kirk Planetarium, Raj Pandya. This shows a performance of some music faculty and students in the planetarium with a planetarium show. So it was an interdisciplinary project. On the right is Dr. Stacy Nunes, who's chair of the Department of Physics and Astronomy, and you will see a video from her. That's all of the academic departments. I would like to introduce one other organization on campus. This is the AC Squared community. The AC Squared is a grant-funded program of academic and support and enrichment for STEM, that's science, technology, engineering, and mathematics majors. The goal is to increase the number of economically disadvantaged and traditionally underrepresented students in these areas. This shows some of our recent graduates, and the director of the program, Nancy Campos, is shown on the right. She will also have a video describing more about the program, so I urge you to check that out. Our facilities. We have outstanding facilities throughout the School of Science and Engineering. On the upper left is Quiggandell Science Building. That's the oldest building in where we're housed. This was actually a 1960s building that was completely renovated in the 90s, and it's still in pretty good shape, and it's an outstanding home for biology, chemistry, and our planetarium. Up on the right is Resnick Engineering Hall, which is one of the 3 buildings where the engineering program is housed. In the lower left is the Engineering Innovation Hub. That's our newest building, which was just opened last summer. That houses our design lab, mechanical engineering labs, and the Hudson Valley Additive Manufacturing Center. Over the right is Wooster Hall, which is another older building that was completely redone 3 years ago, and that houses several engineering labs. We recently opened Science Hall. This is just about 2 years old. This is just an absolutely magnificent facility. Computer science, geology, physics, and the AC Squared program are located there. The picture on the right shows the Science Commons, which is right in the middle as you go in the main door. It's a wonderful place to hang out, study, talk, and it gets a lot of use by science students. On the lower left, that's the faculty office building where the mathematics department is. Okay, that's not the faculty office building. That's in fact the Taj Mahal. Faculty office building is not much to look at, I will have to be completely honest, but the people in the building are outstanding, which is really the important thing. There are many useful and exciting opportunities around the school that I just wanted to briefly note. One is we have a lot of undergraduate research going on in all the departments in the school. I think all of the videos and the presentations that you'll hear from the chairs will highlight some of those. A couple of other things that are really worth keeping in mind. We have a double major in mathematics and math adolescence education. So you can finish a dual major with that gives you a regular math degree as well as the certification to teach. We have BA, MA 5-year programs in earth science, geology, and chemistry. So this you do 4 years as an undergraduate major in geology and chemistry, and then 1 year to complete a master's degree in education, which gives you the certification to teach. We have a BS MS program in electrical engineering. So in 5 years, you can finish a master's degree. You can be prepared for the actuarial profession in mathematics. It's a very attractive area. In geology, we can offer a New York State professional licensure that gives geologists the ability to sign off on certain plans that used to be only engineers could sign off on. In electrical engineering, we have a microwave certification done through the instrument manufacturer Keysight, which is very valuable out in the workforce. We have an applied math minor, which is something that almost everybody should be thinking about. The more math you take, the better in most of our majors. And we have a digital design and fabrication minor, which is an interdisciplinary minor between science and engineering and the fine and performing arts department that integrates CAD design with 3D printing, with some coding, with using open source microelectronics devices. Basically, it's sort of like a super maker curriculum that lets you make just about anything. We have a lot of student clubs that cover every program and department in the school. Often, if someone doesn't like the club they see there, they'll start a new one. But this covers a lot of ground, and I urge you to get involved when you get here in the fall. So what should I do next? Well, first, the next video you should watch is from Dr. Tom Nolan, who's the Associate Dean of the School of Science and Engineering. He'll give you a summary and important details about the registration process. That's Tom right there in the picture. He's a professor in the biology department. Also, watch the videos from any and all of the departments and programs that you are interested in for program information and important suggestions about how to start on the right foot. If you have any concerns or questions, you can always email me. My email address is right there. More than anything, we still have to worry about COVID-19 going around this summer. Please be smart and stay safe, and I look forward to meeting you in the fall.